And new ABC News Ipsos poll shows that a majority of Americans, 58%, say that former President Trump should have been convicted, but that breaks down along party lines. While 88% of Democrats and 64% of independents say Trump should have been convicted, only 14% of Republicans agree. ABC News political director Rick Klein and law professor Deborah Pearlstein join me now to help me break this down. Rick, what do you make of these poll numbers?
Diane, the trial solidified the broad public perception that President Trump should have been convicted and barred from running for office again. 56% right before the trial, 58% at the end of the trial. And I found something just uncanny in these numbers. 58%, well, guess what? 57 out of 100 senators voted that way. That's 57% that supported removal from office. And among Republicans, our poll found 14% Republican support for conviction, and 7 out of 50 is exactly 14%. So the party is divided. The country is divided. These party lines have a lot to do with them, but you have to go back to the end days of Richard Nixon to find anything really tracking this kind of support for a president to be convicted. You didn't see anything similar in the Clinton impeachment, and you didn't see anything similar in that first Trump impeachment. Most Republicans, almost all Republicans, staying loyal that time around.
And Deborah, do you think Congress could use other means to try to hold Trump accountable for the Capitol siege?
So there are a few things Congress might do and is considering. One, which seems unlikely but is nonetheless available, is invoking Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. This is a provision of the Constitution enacted following the Civil War that declares anyone who has held federal office and then engages in insurrection against the United States ineligible for holding future public office. It would require majority votes of Congress, but then it would be certain to be litigated in the court after that. I think on Capitol Hill, the most likely next step is the creation of a commission akin to the 9/11 Commission that would look into what went wrong and how to prevent it from happening again.
Rick, do you expect from a political standpoint that they could get something like that passed through Congress if they weren't able to get an impeachment through? An impeachment conviction, I should say.
Commission. Yeah, a 9/11 type commission, I think there's broad support for. I think, though, the 14th Amendment or a censure resolution, I don't see it happening. There has been some buzz around that, Diane, and the threshold is different. You only need 60 senators potentially to move forward on that, and that would seem achievable. But Democrats that we've been talking to the last couple of days don't see the point. They say that censure is essentially is a slap on the wrist type of emotion, and that what President Trump did is more serious than that. So to get that kind of motivation to go back at it again with a censure resolution or a 14th Amendment resolution, I think something else in the dynamics have to change.
And former President Trump said in a statement on the acquittal that he'll have much more to share in the months ahead. So, Rick, what's next for Trump and what's next for the Republican Party?
Yeah, the most tangible upshot of his acquittal on this on the charges is that he's eligible to run again for president. There's going to be noise about that. I don't anticipate it actually happening, but I do anticipate him and people around him talking about it quite a bit and looming over the 2024 field until or unless he rules it out or some other event makes it impractical or impossible. In the meantime, people around President Trump say that he is fixated on the idea of political revenge. He feels betrayed by Republicans who otherwise stood with him, and he and his family members, his political organization, are intent on exacting some retribution against Republicans in primaries and any way that they can, continuing to use Trumpism as a banner to rally around. And I'll tell you, a lot of Republicans on Capitol Hill are fearful of just that. They would much rather, notwithstanding this final vote, they'd much rather that President Trump simply went away.
And Deborah, ultimately impeachment is a political punishment. Could we see the former president face legal consequences?
So the president is now facing the prospect of legal action on a variety of fronts. Georgia, for example, among states, is now has a criminal investigation underway against the former president for his alleged engagement in election fraud toward the end of the election there. And at the same time, there are obviously massive investigations underway at the federal level, and over 200 people have already been charged in connection with their role in the insurrection. the president may be exposed to criminal liability for his role in that, but it's difficult to pursue and effectively succeed on federal criminal charges for a variety of reasons, including the fact that the First Amendment, which most legal scholars thought not relevant at the impeachment proceeding, will certainly be relevant to charges that are based on the president's role in inciting, the former president's role in inciting the insurrection here. And finally, the president may also be facing the prospect of civil action, individual lawsuits filed by individuals or the families of individuals who were hurt or even killed in the attacks of January 6th. Now, those actions, too, face problems. Presidents are immune, absolutely immune from civil liability for official acts while in office. Whether or not this counted as an official act will be a question that the courts will have to decide. But either way, the president is now looking very likely at a number of years ahead worth of litigation surrounding these activities.
All right. Rick Klein, Deborah Pearlstein, always great to have you both. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.